instructional video on leaners and hangers inside of a city park. It's different than doing right-of-way hanger leaner contract. So we're going to go over a few different things. I want to point out some things, some hangers, some floaters, leaners, and where we should be cutting. Inside the city park, we're going to cut any limbs or trees that are hanging over any maintained property owned by the city inside the park boundary. So that would be anywhere that's mowed, bush hogged, or has a parking lot. As you can look around, this has a parking lot. It's got lots of trees that are inside the parking lot. And then as you zoom back around the other way, you'll see a lot of picnic area that has grass that's mowed. This would also be considered eligible hangers or leaners. Now, as far as, we'll start with floaters. A perfect floater would be this one right here over my head. What makes it a floater is, first off, its diameter is over 2 inches and that it is not attached to the tree. It has broken loose and it's hanging in the tree, not connected. That makes it a floater as opposed to a hanger. If we walk this way and you look up here, you'll see a hanger that is still connected to the tree. The limb is broken off. You can see the break, you can see the dead leaves, the limb is hanging straight down. At the base where that cut is, two inches behind the break, that limb would need to be at least 2 inches in diameter to be an eligible hanger. Behind it, just in the next tree behind it, you'll see another perfect example of a floater. It is broken out and it's just lodged in the limbs of that tree. That would be an eligible floater, and we would get a ticket for that. This particular area has a lot of floaters. We'll show some more as we walk through. Just above my head is another perfect example of a hanger. It's still connected to the tree. It's over 2 inches in diameter. This particular one happens to be over the sidewalk as well, which would matter if we were doing right-of-way clearing, but this is a city park, so anywhere in the maintained area would be eligible. Now we'll move on to an ineligible broken limb. Unfortunately, would be this guy, even though it's humongous. It came out of this tree behind me. You can see where it broke out from up there. But what makes this one ineligible for a pay item is the fact that it's already touching the ground. So in this case, since we're here and we'll be getting hangers out of the surrounding trees, we'll go ahead as a courtesy to the city, we'll cut this tree, get it on the ground so that they can haul it away when they get around to it. But this one would be ineligible because it's already touching the ground. If it were still lodged in the tree, it would be an eligible one, but it's not. There are several hangers beyond it that were caused by this limb. There's a big one that's about 6 inches that lays all the way across. There's another one, floater, in this tree over here. It's kind of hard to see, but you can see the end of it where it's broken. And then we'll move into leaners. This is a picture perfect leaner. What makes it perfect is that it's over 30 degrees, it's leaning over 30 degrees, and the root ball has been disturbed. As you can see, these roots have raised up due to the wind blowing the tree over. So this tree will never be safe again because the roots have been compromised. That's a leaner, an eligible leaner to be taken down. This tree is also an eligible leaner. What makes this one as an eligible leaner slash hazardous tree is the fact that over 50% of its canopy has been destroyed. It's no longer a safe, healthy tree, as you can see. The whole top has been knocked out by this tree, and this one lead has been broken off as well. So this tree will eventually die and become a hazard. So this will be taken down as a legal hazardous tree takedown and would be a pay item. This tree, this big one, obviously the roots have been disturbed greatly. It's leaning more than 30 degrees, but the fact that this tree is already touching the ground makes it ineligible for a pay cut. We would not get paid to cut this tree up. But what we'll do, since we're here as a courtesy to the city, we will go ahead and cut it a few times to get it loose so that the city can haul it away at their convenience. Okay, here we are standing in a typical street. We're talking about the right-of-way in this part of the video. The right-of-way is the power. In this particular example, would be the power pole. The right-of-way of the city is going to come all the way back in line with these two power poles right here, because the city has the right to where these power poles are placed. So anything in this tree that is out beyond these would be considered a hanger in the city right-of-way. We go to the other side of the street, very similar. There's no sidewalks to look for, but there is a power pole. There's a power pole there, there's a power pole here. And so if we draw a line between the two power poles, we're under the electric lines, and we can also look for this fence. The customer or the homeowner has put a fence up out to the right-of-way. So we have power poles to look for, and we have a fence to look for. And another example of the right-of-way and how we determine what the right-of-way is. You can see the other side of the street has a sidewalk. So we go to the back of the sidewalk. On this side though, there is no sidewalk in this section. But if you look in the distance, you will see a sidewalk. But what we're looking for in this particular area is, first we have the mailboxes. The mailboxes are very close to the street. But if we look beyond the mailboxes, we can see a sewer grate, not a fence, at the edge of the sidewalk, marking the city's right-of-way all the way to the back side of the sidewalk. It has no bearing on where the mailboxes are placed. As you can see over here, the mailboxes are all the way out by the road, but the city maintains all of this all the way to the back side of the sidewalk. There's a hanger right here. You can see the dead leaves. You can see where it's twisted up here. It's directly over the sidewalk, but it's not an eligible hanger because it's less than 2 inches in diameter. It's probably only about 1.25 inches in diameter, so that would not be an eligible hanger. That's why it's still there. All right, walking over here, looking at more right-of-ways. We look down through this here. We've got several things down this road. We have a sidewalk, and the sidewalk is the furthest thing back. So that tells us that the city right-of-way goes all the way to the back side of the sidewalk. There's a ditch here. If there were no sidewalk and just this ditch right here, then the back side of the ditch would be the city right-of-way right here. But there's a sidewalk, so we go on out to the back side of the sidewalk, making, if this had a hanger hanging in here, this would be an eligible cut because it's hanging over the sidewalk. On this side of the road, first thing you come to is the mailboxes. Okay, the mailboxes are out by the street, so that's not them. You keep going back, you have ditches, you have a culvert and a ditch, but that's not the end of the right-of-way. Well, then you come to utility poles. That's not the end of the right-of-way because there's a sidewalk. The sidewalk comes all the way back, and that tells you where the end of the city-maintained right-of-way is. So as you look down this line here, all these trees that are hanging over the sidewalk would be eligible hangers if there were one there. You can see down by that pole, there's a very small hanger that would not be eligible because it's less than 2 inches in diameter. Let's walk across the street over here. Or we'll turn and look down this way. This entire tree, you can see in front of us, the entire tree is inside of the city right-of-way. It's between the street and the sidewalk. So any broken branches from the back side of the sidewalk to the street would be considered an eligible hanger. But what I want to make a note of and make a point is that we get 1 ticket per tree. So that tree there, as you can see, there's many cuts in it, but that is only 1 ticket for that tree. We are responsible to clear all the 2-inch hangers out of a tree, but it only counts as 1 ticket item. Is this hanger right here. This one I'm touching. That would be an eligible hanger because it is over 2 inches at the top where it's broken, but the city right-of-way stops at the back of the sidewalk. And if you look, I'm at the edge of the sidewalk. This is beyond the sidewalk. So that would not be an eligible hanger. It's beyond the right-of-way.